And do you think, going back to the Anita Baker, Anita Hill thing, which I still think is just so funny, just
Yeah.
think of it. But do you think proper names, based on your background and your research, do you think each one of the proper names, say there's 2 or possibly 3, are parsed in the brain differently? Do you think the Anita is in a drawer here in the brain, and Baker and Hill and all the others are in a different drawer?
Well, that's interesting because yeah, I mean, there are some people that have, a name like Paul George.
Yeah.
He could go either way, right? He
Uh-huh.
he has 2 first names.
Yeah.
There are people that, in the South, it's really common to name a son the mother's maiden name.
Yes.
So that's why you see some strange, kind of unusual names, like Reynolds Price, who was a writer. He's dead now.
Right.
But Reynolds was the family name on his mother's side, so that's where he got that name. But yeah, you will find commonalities, and again, Anita Hill and Anita Baker, the names are very similar, completely different, but nevertheless they'll be stored in the brain that way. Because what they find when they do tests is that the brain tends to light up in patterns, something like a Christmas tree light. You see a Christmas tree, it's got the flashing lights. There's a pattern to it, and that's how the information is distributed across the brain. And as a memory becomes faded, or as we age, some of those connections break down. So it's maybe not quite as, just like your Christmas tree when the lights burns out. So you're there, and that's why you get part of it right, but maybe not another part, or a different configuration comes up. So somebody can remember their wedding day. They remember they got married. What day of the week was it? Oh, it must have been, and you find out that they were wrong.
Yeah.
Or they'll swear up and down something happened on such and such a day, and you find out, no, it couldn't have happened then, because if you were there, you didn't even live there at that time. Doesn't mean that they're lying. It just means that, again, the memory's fallible.
Yeah. I love the Christmas tree analogy. It's great.
Yeah.
Or Christmas lights. I think some of us are the Christmas lights where if one bulb is out, they're all out.
Yeah.
And others, one bulb doesn't, the chain still stays on.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a great book written by Elizabeth Loftus called Eyewitness Testimony. She was a researcher at University of Washington. Now, she was investigating really eyewitness testimony for criminal cases, because she said when you ask people what they think is the most credible or the most substantial evidence, it'll say eyewitness testimony. But what they find is that it's very memory is malleable. You can convince somebody that they saw somebody that they didn't see.
Well, there was that classic sociology experiment, the bus experiment, where they told the story at the ass end of the bus. And by the time it made it to the front of the bus, it was, in essence, a completely different story.
Yeah, that's right.
That's amazing. But I've often wondered why, when you're remembering something, your brain will fill in. And like you said, it's not a lie. It's parsed. And it's the search function in your brain hits on Baker instead of Hill for Anita, and it fills it in. It's like, Well, and it's also like that I've seen many, unfortunately, on Facebook, but it's a scientific experiment. I don't remember the scientific name or the process, but when you can actually read a sentence with missing words.
Yes, and you fill it in.
Perfectly. I mean, it's exactly what the sentence is.
Yeah.
And I think that's exactly what it is, and the brain just fills in Baker for Hill, and she's on the congressional floor just singing away.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
But we're back in the studio, Pod Bay Door. John's with me. Cranky John.
Here. Cranky as ever.
Hashtag Cranky John. It's taking off, John. I'm telling you. Hello to everybody. We're glad you're with us. If you get a chance, go. We love the reviews. We're actually getting quite a few recently. And Podbean, iTunes, WordPress, wherever you want to put the review, please do. If you're having a good time with us, we'd love to know and see everybody write those reviews. A couple of sponsors today. Okay. We've changed. We're back to CWOdesigns.com. They're doing something new.
Wine racks?
Wine racks, yeah, wine racks. Custom wood supplies and decor. But now they've included custom framed designer photography pieces.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
recently they released some from Rome and the Italian area,
Yeah.
and it's absolutely beautiful. But the most recent piece that I saw was a television stand. It was fantastic. It was a light wood, very rustic, but it's cwodesigns.com. Check those guys out if you like home decor. But we got to give a shout out to another sponsor of ours, a close friend of ours. The newest book by Julia Shoup. Go to Amazon.
Yep.
Check it out. Carved in Stone. Vanessa Stone thriller, murder thriller.
Yes.
But check that out at Amazon Kindle, and you can download the Kindle app, and it's carved in stone. And if you love murder mysteries, check that out. It's Stats Day. I had way too many comments regarding stats, and so I visited the LVCVA, Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority. Yep. As a group, I don't know how they are. They're buying up all kind of land recently, and they're going to expand. I don't know where they're getting all the money. I think it's my pocket. I don't know.
Yeah.
Our pocket.
All the resort fees.
All the resort fees. That's right. But lots of people have been asking about the stats, and it's such a volatile area here in Las Vegas. I can't keep up with it. So we're gonna have some stats today, John.
Good.
These are accurate as of Q4, fourth quarter, 2017 through current, minus a couple of months. You know, they include the first quarter of 2018. But give me your thoughts on this. I don't know. See if you feel these numbers, because if no one knows, living in Las Vegas, you are 20 minutes from anything. Really, there isn't. We're not LA. Traffic is awful, you know, as in any city, but the only place that we hate to go is Summerlin, and it's because there's some major work on our freeways right now. But
it's hell getting out there. It's nice once you get out there.
It's very pretty.
But I will have to say, I was in Portland earlier this week, and I used to live up there. I like the Pacific Northwest. It's really nice.
Love it.
Traffic is awful. Really, really terrible, and that hadn't changed. It was a great day, so you can't blame it on the weather.
Yeah.
But to go from one end of town where I had to go about 12 miles to the airport, took over an hour.
Oh my!
Yeah, and that was freeway. No, most of that was on the freeway. So wherever you want to take off, we'll take Sandy Boulevard. No, it's bumper to bumper.
Wow, and you think laid back Portland, you know?
Yep, and it was 4 o'clock. Yeah, so it was, but still, I mean, I asked the Lyft driver. I said, "So is it?" Oh yeah. Usually after about 2 or 3. I said, "Oh, it's same in the Bay Area." So.
Yeah. Being an original I rejected, rideshare. Yeah. And that scenario, just by itself, it kind of won me over, because you're not sitting there watching the meter.
Yeah,
you know, just
that's right.
click, dollar
so,
here. Dollar.
That's how I did it on this last trip. I could have rented a car, and I looked at the places I had to go, and what I was going to do that day, and it just wasn't convenient for me to. It would have been about the same cost wise, but this way I don't have to do the driving. Somebody else who knows the area, hopefully.
Yes, hopefully, yes.
knows some of these shortcuts. So and they're different. The drivers are all I had a woman who was studying to be a realtor, and there was a guy with a man bun. So the man bun aside, I told him, I said, every song you played on your playlist, I've got at home on vinyl.
Really?
Because he had, I guess he was a younger guy, but he had old music taste, Led Zeppelin and The Who and whatnot.
Yeah. You're right about knowing where they're going. It's no different than rideshare is no different than any other. We're all human. Yeah. And I was actually going off on. I was in Long Beach. LA, leaving for a cruise, and it's a very specific area to go to embark. And I had Huang Ho, and he was angry and upset and lost, and it was and I didn't mind. I mean, we were close, but oh gosh, and he was mean to everybody he asked, and it was just the strangest situation. Wow. Prior to that, they had all been very sort of new wave hippie kind of folks. They're happy to be there, very granola. But Huang Ho, he was pissed. He was just pissed. But okay, John, visitors to Las Vegas.
Okay.
42,214,208.
Wow.
Now the exactness, I know I'm going to get a lot of questions. The exactness, I don't know how they're coming to the exact number.
Yeah.
But 42,214,000.
Yeah, because you think we get a lot of people who drive here, particularly from Southern California.
Yes,
So, and they're not just all flying in.
Yes. Now, I'll stop me, and let me know what you think of these. But 42 million. Now I don't know, and that's an annual number, give or take a quarter. Yeah, I believe it. It's just that I can't say, they're not all here at once, of course.
Yeah, right.
But
and they're going to be spikes. New Year's is going to be here for the convention, CES or something like that. There'll be spikes. Even this coming next week with 4th of July. Yeah. There'll be some people come out for that.
Now that number represents less than a 2% increase from last year, but a significant increase from, say, the
gloomy 2008.
Well, the penultimate year of the Obama administration, when he made statements about Vegas. Yeah. It's definitely better than then. But not a huge bump from last year, but a little bit. Clark County now, for those of you who haven't visited, there's a couple of places here. There's Clark County, which is the majority of Las Vegas area. There's North Las Vegas. Summerlin is a township. It's still part of the majority of it's part of Clark County. But they also these are revenue numbers, and Clark County, Strip, and downtown. They make those three distinctions. Clark County gaming revenue. Now this is rounded up or down. Yeah. I'm not quite sure. Up $10 billion.
Oh,
that's with a B.
With a B.
With a Bravo. Wow. $10 billion.
A lot of money.
Yeah. Lot. And this month they have projected. I don't believe it's locked in yet, but a 5.1% increase in the revenue of the last quarter. Which is a big deal. After showing down numbers for the last 3 quarters, so we're up. I don't think we've got our head above water yet, but we'll see. Just the Strip revenue, and they count the Strip basically from Mandalay Bay to I believe they include the Stratosphere.
Yeah, that was
if not, they'll include the SLS. 6.5 billion of the 10.
Wow.
Yeah. Downtown revenue, 630 million.
Yeah. Doesn't sound like much.
Well.
What's down there, really?
Yeah, what's down there? I mean, they're classic old gaming places, but
those tend to be nickel and dime ones too. You get the grind joints, the El Commode, and but still, there's some good ones. I mean,
yeah, not bad.
Relatively speaking.
I mean, everybody loves to talk about the D. It's okay, and there's Four Queens and the Nugget, the Golden Nugget. They're all good, but they're not making up for all that's being lost. Horseshoe's all but not there, and the Fremont is crutching along.
That's too bad because the Horseshoe used to have best odds too. If you were really a player, that's where you went.
Oh, absolutely.
They still had single deck blackjack.
Yeah. And if you're a real poker player, not these, online weenies, that's where you went. You played with Benny and Doyle and all the people, Gabe Kaplan. Huh. Yeah. Citywide occupancy. Now they're including downtown and the Strip. An average of 88.7%.
Wow, that's I think about the sheer numbers of that. You think about the Venetian. Yeah. When we were there, it had 3,000 rooms, 3,036. They added 1,000 rooms right after I left. Mm-hmm. They've got the Palazzo. In most hotels they would die for 88%, and they've got 200 rooms.
Right.
So, you were talking thousands and thousands of rooms.
Well, I have that quote. I'll go down to that one.
Right.
What total rooms? What do you think? Give it a shot. Total rooms.
Oh, God.
Las Vegas in total.
I'd say, 40,000?
148,000.
Oh, wow.
148,896 at 88.7% occupancy on average.
Yeah.
No, that's great. And that's kind of astounding. I'll give it an astounding. And I'd have to say during our tenure at the Venetian, it felt busy.
Yeah.
There were some marked weeks of the year.
Yeah.
The week after Christmas.
Yep.
When all the non-Christians come in, and stay, and then everybody comes. Then it's like a bomb hits, pardon the term, and the New Year's, and then I would say probably the day the kids go back to school.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That week, and then the week after New Year's is tragic.
Yeah.
Because people are broke and drunk, and it's over.
Yeah.
And they're starting.
Yeah, and they. You think about 88%, that's the average, which means it's sold out a lot. I mean, that's assuming that there are times that it's not. And you're right. And the other thing is that you sometimes, very often, when I worked there, you could not book it for one night. Yeah, it was like a 3-night minimum. Right, exactly. And you remember New Year's was like $500-$600. Some night, it's like, hey, this is what the going rate is.
Well, they do that now. I mean,
they still do that.
The Venetian, you actually can, if you shop accordingly. You can get in for $130.
Yeah, that's what it was even back then.
But then they pork you on a Friday and Saturday. It's $130 and then up to $350.
Yep.
For the same room.
Yeah, for the same room. Just depends on the day of the week.
I love this number. Average daily cars, and they somehow calculate it based on crossing the into Nevada, into Las Vegas proper. Average daily car traffic 44,880. That's a lot.
It's a lot of cars,
and they're all in my way, John.
Yeah, every one of them. And just think when the Raiders get here, that's what it's gonna be like on a Sunday.
Right.
Because they all have to drive their own car.
Yeah, we have a big later on in the show here. We got we got a little bit of gossip. It's not really gossip; it's past news. But some controversy. You're a big baseball fan.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about that. Average room rate, $129.
That's not bad. That's what the Venetian was, I think, when we were there.
Yeah, but I mean, it's also...
And that was the highest one at the time.
Yeah, but I mean, it's also including the choice hotels, Motel 6s.
Yeah. That's a good rate.
Not bad. There
have been times when I travel for business where I stay at, Fleabag by Marriott. Mm-hmm. And it's just, it's what it is. They give you the breakfast is the brick in the shape of a bagel, and the cereal in a dispenser, and you can take a plastic spoon and it comes in a cardboard bowl sort of thing, or a little package you got to cut open and eat right out. And those places, because I pay and I get reimbursed, they're like $225. Yeah, I thought, geez, does it stay in this dump?
Oh, I know. Yeah. I when it comes to hotels, I have to say I saw it recently on there was a Twitter conversation I for some reason was watching, and the gentleman or the Twitter handle made the comment that he recently traveled quite a bit. And Las Vegas, it still impresses him as far as the quality of the room.
Yeah,
I have to say that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, spending some quality time in the East Coast as I do for work, it's they're tiny.
Yeah,
I mean they're you can walk right onto your bed from the front door. I mean they're little tiny. Chicago, New York. But no, I think the accessories, the accoutrement of Las Vegas rooms, I totally agree. They're lovely rooms. Now I don't know if you $350 for a standard. I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't go.
Yeah, I'm against that. Total rooms again. I'll say that quote again. It's 148,896 rooms. That's all in total from downtown all the way to the M. Now visitors. I love these stats. Kill me. Percentage of visitors to Las Vegas who are under 21. Give it a shot. What do you think?
Oh, the percentage?
Of 100% of the visitors. Well, hold on. Of the 42 million and change visitors, what percentage of those were under 21?
I know I'm gonna come in low, but I'm gonna say 18%.
8.
Okay, 8%. Well that's good because I don't see very many kids on this trip.
That's right. That's right.
But people will come, all it takes is that one family, coming in from Utah with 9 kids, right?
Right. No kids, 8%. And that's significantly lower than last year and way lower.
I wonder what it was during the height of the Treasure Island, the Adventureland or what they had at the MGM. And
at 42 million and change, every percent is quite a lot of children.
Yes.
And so I think it was over, probably 12 to 15% during the time that we said, oh, families are good. Now we say families are bad because families don't have any money.
And we were there at the worst time because when we worked there, they realized families were bad and they were changing things, but they didn't tell the families that. that they came, and they would they would cut me a new asshole at the desk saying, "What do you mean there's no games in the room for the kids to play?
Yeah.
What do you mean you don't have an arcade? You used to have." Across the street, they used to have one, then they took it out, right? At the Treasure Island. They even changed the name of it.
That's
right?
true. That's true.
They want to distance themselves from it. I said, yeah, but these people already have a reservation. What do you want me to tell them?
Well, yeah, I mean, Treasure Island actually was the epicenter of the change.
Yes.
They had the pirate battle,
yes,
which was sort of benign,
that
fun
was cool.
Disney. And then they made the hot chick, Hooters boobies on the ship kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that marked the change, and we all love that.
Yeah.
Percentage, again, the 42 million, percentage of those who are millennial, and that's 1985 to 2000.
Ooh, coming last year?
Mm-hmm.
I would think that would be pretty sizable.
Mm.
I don't know, 50%?
38.
38, okay. Oh,
disturbing number. And I'll bring up a story that I read recently. Millennials are disturbing a lot of people. But 38% of those visitors were millennial, which is why at 38%, as it crests towards 50, which is just shocking to me.
Yeah.
As it crests towards 50, that's why we keep seeing all these articles, about they're making different things for the millennials because, the boomers are staying the hell home and the millennials are the only ones coming out, and they only have this little tiny little pot of money, and they're trying to attract what they can. But the article that I saw, which is related to Las Vegas because we have, especially with the new the betting procedures across the country. I saw an article that was quotes from the NFL, and they said they are having difficulties. They are showing decreased attendance at stadiums, decreased viewership both on stream and standard. And they didn't use the word blaming. I'll say blaming the millennials because they're becoming disinterested in football, and I can see that. I can see that because the millennial man is a different cat.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's different from even, and I would extend it. Even baseball attendance is down.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've noticed that looking at stadiums, it's like, well, usually that stadium's full.
Yeah, and it coincides with recent articles that the book runners and the books of all the casinos are showing decreased numbers mainly because millennials aren't taking the time. They don't care to bet on it because every dollar means so much to them, but they also don't know how.
Yeah.
There's a new generational effect on the people that understand how to gamble.
Yeah. Yeah. When I was a kid, I mean, I'm like 12 years old. For Christmas, somebody gave me actually a crap table, a little miniature crap table, so I learned how to play. And I thought, I didn't get that for my kid. I don't even think they were around. But that was kind of common. Or we knew somebody I used to like to go to their house. Why? Because they had a slot machine. I mean, they shouldn't have had one, but they got one. They drove it in from Nevada, probably from Reno, and I could play with the slot machine. So I knew about that. I knew how to play these games, poker and blackjack from my dad. But these are things that that have fallen out of favor, I suppose.
I mean, if you look at it, the millennials sort of smirk and scoff and can't believe the percentage still remaining of people that don't know how to use technology, whatever that technology may be. Conversely, millennials, they don't know how to gamble. They aren't becoming carpenters, plumbers. They have no blue collar vocations. So I mean, it's a very strange time.
Yeah.
I mean, there's this chasm of knowledge where technology and old school vocation are being dumped and nobody's taking the time to learn it.
Yeah.
I want the older folks to learn technology to a point, but I also want the new folks to, what are we going to do when the zombies come and nobody knows how to build a house?
Yeah.
Yeah. But,
well, I think I told you when I was in grad school, and I went back to grad school, I was kind of late, right? I was in my early 40s. Mm-hmm. And I was in the office, and there's one of the people doing the work study working there, and she's young, she's 20 something, and I see her eyeballing me, I think she's trying to figure out how old I am. And then she says, "Do you know how to use this thing?" And I said, "Yes, that's called a typewriter." And they had given her the office job, probably again somebody older, and just says, "Here, type up these envelopes," because it was still easier. The envelopes often get caught in the laser printers, so they would just put it in they had an IBM Selectric, and just type up the address. Well, they didn't think that this young woman in her 20s had never seen one before, didn't know how to use it. And I told her, I said, yes, that's actually a high-end typewriter you've got. That's an electric typewriter. He goes, well, where's the printer? I said, it's right there. And I had to show her how to use it.
Yeah.
And if you make a mistake, I said, this was really, state of the art. Not to me, not all that long ago. It was the 80s.
Yeah.
So it had just, and here's somebody who, had no idea how to turn it on, how to use it, and was applying what she knew. Where's the printer? Yeah. Because, and they're a printer to this machine. It's a machine. It's technology, but it's just old technology. So.
Now, does your boy take, do they even offer or require a typing class anymore?
I don't think that they do. He types very well.
Yeah.
He's crude. I mean, in the sense that he's two-finger type, I guess. But he can be very, very, very fast with it.
Okay.
At one time, in fact, the funny thing was the fastest typing I ever did was on a manual typewriter.
Really?
Yeah, I did 90 words a minute on a manual, and I could not reach that speed on an electric.
I remember having to take a typing class in high school on an IBM Selectric.
Yeah.
And I was a monster, man. Those were flying.
Yeah.
And that gave me, it was the standard, carriage and positioning, and I've never forgotten that. But you're right. Everybody else is like two-fingered but fast. I mean, or two thumbs nowadays.
Yeah, and that's what I can't really do very well is type on those little tiny, like on the phone. I really don't like to. I like to text from my desk where I have a full keyboard.
Sure.
But otherwise, it's like, that's not what I typed. Damn it. My thumb got in the way.
All right. So back to the numbers.
Yeah.
Average age. Now, this one, I have a hard time resolving this with a millennial of 38% of the 42 million are millennials. But the average age of those 42 million is 44.3. So 44, years of age. I'd have to do some serious math to get that.
I was thinking about, that about the visitors that come, and you're going to get them. I mean, if you go to the clubs, you're going to find young people there. And by young, I'm talking about millennials.
Right.
But if you're going to Mandalay Bay for World of Concrete, there can be older people, right, that are in that industry, or so you have the conventioneers who tend to be older. Those are the people that go to those. Again, it's going to depend on the industry.
Right.
We used to hate Comdex because those guys didn't spend any money. And remember, the joke was, they came in wearing a white shirt and holding a $20 bill, and they were there 3 days and didn't change either one of them.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, they were cheap. They ate in the food court because Coke and pizza. That's the nerd diet.
Yeah.
And they would show up and not spend any money.
Well, now the last number we had before we talk about this controversy, average of the 42 million that were first timers. I find this high.
Oh, that's interesting. Really, that would be. Oh boy, 22%.
21. Good job. Outstanding. Now, obviously, that 21% can be represent underage millennials.
Sure.
But for average first timer, 21%. That's good news for Vegas.
Yeah.
People are sticking their toe in the water.
Yeah.
But they're not sticking their toe in their wallets because I don't know who's spending what, but it's a strange time right now. Okay, so I promised controversy. And this controversy happened early in 2018, late 2017. But Las Vegas has a wonderful farm baseball team.
Yes.
The 51s. And their mascot, Cosmo.
Yeah.
I don't understand Cosmo.
No.
He's an alien,
yeah.
I'm assuming. I've only seen him one time, but very fun. Great team. They're
the New York Mets minor league team.
Mets minor league. 51s. That was another crowd-sourced, if you will, name. That's
right.
I think
they used to be Las Vegas Stars some years ago. Yes. When they were the Padres.
And the Padres, yes, exactly. Yeah. They offer it out to the crowd. I don't know who actually makes the decision, but the 51s, very cool.
That was a good name.
We all thought great. That was fantastic, and stadium is really fun to go to.
Yeah,
it's a
Cashman Field.
Cashman Field, minor league, Cactus League participant.
Yep.
So all things must change.
Aren't they moving too? Huh?
Yes, and that's the controversy. Now the 51s is not set in stone yet, but they put it out there again for a crowdsourced vote.
Yeah.
And we're thinking aviators.
No. It
No,
doesn't sound good.
I'm not thinking so. And they did it because, of course, Nellis
Of
Air
Howard
Force Base,
Hughes?
we have a storied history when it comes to aviation.
Yes, true.
But
It doesn't sound
and then the Golden Knights, of course, were sort of named from a military standpoint.
Yeah.
And there was a little problem
controversy with the name.
Exactly, controversy with the name. Everybody asked why they didn't use silver, but either way. So yeah, the 51s are heading towards the aviators. Cosmo is out.
Oh.
Cosmo
They sending him back to his home planet?
Sorry.
Back to Roswell?
Los Angeles,
where they dug him up?
No, Cosmo is 99% out.
Oh.
I can't confirm he's gone, but he's on his way. The Cosmo is heading, he's got his bag packed. Now, the controversy is, and I was not aware of this as a participant of Las Vegas community. Did you know that the city elders wheedled away $80 million for their new stadium?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Now, yes, it was a deal brokered by our city folks here in Las Vegas, and it's for their new stadium. Unheard of price tag based on the rest of the league.
For a minor league stadium.
For a minor league stadium. Everybody, the eyes rolled and the eyebrows got furrowed across the board, and they were like, "Wow, are you guys actually taking this deal?" Well, yeah, they took the deal. And then, of course, the juggernaut that is the Raiders, $750 million that they kicked us in the balls for.
Yeah.
That overshadowed everything. So that $80 million disappeared. But did you know that $80 million stadium?
No.
Yeah, Summerlin.
Yeah. Well, and what's wrong with the current one? I mean, it's minor league. It's supposed to be a dump.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. That kind of encourages the players. I don't want to play in this dump.
I know, but you know what?
It's minor league game.
The Cashman Field.
Yeah.
Cashman is a long-standing name in this town. Cashman and Bell and Frias. Those are the old men that founded the place, and then they locked up cabs, limousines, and all services. And there.
There's a great name also for this town, Cashman.
That's right, Cashman. And photography.
Yep.
They're big photography.
That's true. That's right.
They're not great, but they lock up a system. But it's Cashman Field was great.
Yeah.
I attended. Nothing wrong with it, and it wasn't run down. It's not the best of areas, but what stadium is?
Yeah.
But $80 million, John.
I went to a spring training game when I was in Arizona. I had to go there on business, so we got there the day before. My colleagues and we went to see the Giants and Indians, I think, in Scottsdale, and it's a minor league stadium. Sure. It's great. It was great to see, watch a game there, hang out in the sun, have a few beers, and just talk and enjoy the game. And it was cheap. Everyone was $10 or something like that. It wasn't very much money.
Yeah, I mean, you might be able to spend $20 on a line seat if you want third or first, but you really don't. At Cashman Field, you don't want those because it's so hot.
Yeah,
you'll roast yourself.
Yeah,
but $80 million of our hard-earned money stolen, John.
Yeah,
they better be a damn nice stadium.
Yeah, better be, and they better find something else to do with it besides just have baseball.
That's right, and they better have like 4 or 5 bat days. I want a free bat.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a question. I have a listener question for you.
All right.
But I also have a comment. We weren't not immediately attacked by our conversation last week.
Oh.
The fat stuff.
Okay.
I thought for sure that people were going to get on us about using the word fat.
Yeah.
And we've had a long conversation about using the word fat. Well, I was justified by, as I was posting to our blog, and guys, if you missed the podcast, go to our blog. It's the podbaydoor.wordpress.com. All is Vegas gossip, and you can click into our podcast and all the stuff we talked about. But in researching a picture to use for our little slug there, I found something that I could not believe and justified our usage of the word fat, or anybody's for that matter. And it was they sell a product now that has a hashtag, just like Cranky John. The Fatkini.
Ooh, well, that sounds bad.
It is a bikini for larger women, fat women, and they proudly use it, Fatkini. Right. So I no longer have a problem using the word fat. I never did. Yeah. If anything about the Pod Bay Door, we're truthful about what's going on. Political correctness is not our thing.
It's interesting, Jamie, because I don't see that. Now, that's not universal. Years ago, I had I was working on a high school English test for United Arab Emirates.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd gone over there and I worked with the Ministry of Education. And the woman in charge of the English department was an Egyptian woman. Her name was Rasha. And then anyhow, some months later, I had to go back again. And I went and I noticed that her office had changed. So I asked a security guy, and I said, I'm sorry. I said, I'm looking for Rasha. And he looked at me and he says, the fat lady? And I thought, well, that's not, yes, the fat lady. I mean, I wouldn't have described her that way, but now that you have, that's who I'm talking about. And he said something to his colleague in Arabic, and the other guy said, fat lady? Yes, I'm looking for the fat lady. And they pointed where our office was. And then later on, talking to her, she admitted, she says, yeah, well, I'm fat.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it is. I don't have to say you're stout, you're big boned. No, she's fat, and she was a wonderful lady, but she's fat. That's all I'm saying.
I think all these movements are forgetting to ask the people.
Yes.
Do you really want to be represented this way? Do you want
Yes.
your pronoun changed? No, I do not. But I'm an advocate of conservation of words.
Yeah.
With as fast as we have to go in the world today, and the communication levels that we have to maintain.
Yeah.
If I'm going to point out somebody, John happens to be wearing glasses. The guy with the glasses. The guy with the pink shirt. The fat guy. The black guy. The Chinese guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you know Chinaman? We talked about
yes,
this.
Chinaman.
Chinaman is apparently, it has been deemed by the social justice group somewhere, sometime, to be racist. And I have a problem with that as well. Is Irishman?
Well, I've often wondered, look at Notre Dame.
Where are we
Isn't
going
that
with
kind
this?
of the fighting Irish?
The fighting?
Of course, they're drunk and they're fighting.
That's right.
Right? I mean, isn't that? Yes. Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know. Well,
it was something very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I'd read a study that was done. It was a linguistic study on the use of the word fat. And they did this in the UK. And what they did was they had some general practitioners, doctors, talking to patients. And they had one group that says, okay, when your patients come in, I want you to bring it up. Even if they're not there for whatever, you're just looking at, their general health. And I want you to use the word fat. Even if they're thin, just say, well, you want to watch your diet so you don't get fat. And if they are fat, you might say, well, you know what, you're a little bit fat there. You might want to lose some weight. And they had another group of doctors not use the word fat, use overweight or use whatever. And then later on, they polled and they did surveys with the patients. And what they found was the people who really were fat, they preferred the doctor to use the word fat, because then it was like no denial. It says, I need to be told straightforward that I need to lose weight, so you can call me fat. But it was the thin people who I really thought he should have used a different term.
Well, I agree, and I absolutely believe that. I believe you need to ask the representative group you're referring to, what do you want? What do Indians want to be called? Indian is fine.
Yes.
But no, in fact, but if you think about the terms for fat, the rest of them are actually quite descriptive.
Yeah.
I mean, there's obese, it's
a medical term.
It's a medical term.
Yeah.
And then of course the morbidly obese, which is you got 1 foot in a grave, 1 foot in a hole at this point. But then if you think about an even a term of bygone era, corpulent.
Yeah.
Nobody talks like that except me, you and me. But it's a term that people that would be hard to take. I'm corpulent.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm fat. And I think there's a little bit of levity left in the word fat that makes it okay for fat people. It's just like, well, I'm fat, but maybe there's even a level of it's temporary.
Yeah.
I'm fat, but I may not be fat soon. Corpulent, morbidly obese, you're done. But fat is still
and there are insulting words that are which would not be appropriate. Fat ass, fatty, fatso.
Yeah.
But just say someone's fat. And I'd mentioned before, when I was a kid, I was fat.
Yeah.
Did I like being fat? No. So what did I do? I lost weight.
Yeah.
I'm no longer fat.
That's right. That's right. But so yeah, Fat Keeney. God. Okay, now question from Don, and this one came off of WordPress.
All
right. John.
Yes.
And hashtag
Cranky John.
Cranky John, not Fat John. Cranky John. You mentioned unionizing in another podcast of the concierge. Why didn't that happen? Oh, that was a great question.
Yeah, that is a good question. Well, I think that You might be able to answer that too, because you were there longer than I was. I'm not sure if it was just popular enough, or if it was the fact that, that most of our colleagues were really young. Maybe they just didn't understand what was involved in that. I don't know.
Yes, I think that's absolutely a factor. I think a couple more factors are unions require the numbers.
Yeah,
there are thousands of housekeepers and food workers.
Yep.
There are not concierge.
No. The few hotels that have, not all the hotels have them. What do we have? 25.
Yeah, you could even, I think, aptly say that we were in the hundreds, which is not good for unionizing.
No.
There's not everything's a business. Unionizing makes money, and money needs to be, and there wasn't a lot of money. Secondly, I think there was an ignorance, like John said, like you said, John, to the process.
Yeah.
And the thirdly, I think that the day of Hoffa is gone. I think unions are okay. I support unions. I've never been part of one, but I support them existing. I just don't know that they help as much as they used to. They don't protect you as much as they used to.
Yeah.
And lastly, it was shut down. We were attacked. We were, you speak the name. It's kind of like harassment nowadays. You speak union, and boy, you better have your guns loaded.
Yeah.
And you better have enough ammunition, and there, that's what happened. There was none of us were ready. I didn't participate in the talks because I knew this in advance.
Yeah.
And I didn't see the benefits of it because it would be more money out of the concierge pocket that was already being taken by the corporations of the casinos. So I think that all of those combined is why they failed.
Yeah, and then Nevada is being, they like to call it it's one of those crazy things that they uses of language, a right to work state. It's a right to fire state. Right, is what it is.
Yes, absolutely.
And that was the other thing. Oh, you're going to unionize? We'll just get rid of you. Yeah. That's all right.
Yeah.
Because you have a right to work and not have to belong to a union.
Well, yeah, and unfortunately, the life that we led, we had that they're sort of apathetic. Yeah, go ahead and leave. Don't let the door hit you in the ass. And there's 100 guys behind us waiting for the job.
Yeah. So that's what I did. I said, you know what, I've had enough. Yeah. Because they gave us good, and then what Adelson did when they opened the hotel was they gave us the benefits that were better than what the union was giving the union workers. And then little by little, those eroded, right? They started taking them away. Oh, we're going to take more from the more your cut. We're going to do more and more and more because, and there was that regulation of our salaries.
Yes.
Because they would find out, well, what do the Bellagio concierge make? And we said, well, yeah, but our tasks are different. Bellagio concierge did not, book the tours and the shows. That was what the Bell Desk did. That's traditionally what they did. That's how we made our money. So I said, we have more things to do than they do. So we should. That's where most of our money's coming from.
Yeah.
So
we had outstanding insurance. That remained all the way through. That was fantastic.
Yes.
So enough for a family man to stay.
Yeah.
But they slowly stripped our money away deftly. I might add. Overnight too. It was gone. But great question. But that's
was a very good question.
If you don't have the numbers and support it, your union busting is easy. Yeah. But well, that was fun, John. What did you think about those numbers?
Yeah, the numbers in Las Vegas, I mean, they're always staggering, it seems.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're able to maintain it. I never liked the idea that every year you have to gain 2% or 3%. Somehow it's bad if there was no growth, they just stayed the same.
Exactly.
What's wrong with 88%?
Yeah.
Hotel occupancy. Well, sure, it's got a little bit of growth there,
right,
but that doesn't mean you should be opening up more hotels. 88 is great. It means that we're doing well. But if you start opening up more hotels and more rooms, puts more pressure to fill up rooms to keep that 88%. Just not sustainable.
No, I agree. But the town, it's changing, and I think Las Vegas changes at a faster rate than any other city in the country, because of what we offer, how we offer it, and because we're entertainment based. I think things are changing. I mean, just that article from the NFL was amazing. That NFL is it's a bulwark of sports entertainment, and for them to even mention about lower numbers, that's amazing to me. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And just think about NFL mentioning that. Just think our entire town is based on wallets being opened and money being spent.
Yeah.
And if the money's not being spent and the knowledge of how to spend it goes away, oh my, that's a terrible thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw something on Facebook. I try not to look at that too often, but somebody made a comment and I completely disagreed with him. It was in reference to the Golden Knights were playing the Washington Capitals, and they were complaining about the pregame show that was showing. They had the guys come out on they skate out on the ice. There's one guy dressed up as a Golden Knight, and there's another guy dressed up, and they have a sword fight out there in center ice.
I
right?
did see that.
Yes. And he says, that's the stupidest thing I ever saw. This guy wrote, he goes, what demographic are they going after? Yeah. And I thought, well, you idiot! It's the local crowd. This is Las Vegas. We a lot of that's done tongue in cheek.
Of course.
But that's the whole thing. We have to have something. I said, well, what did the Washington Capitals? They had Pat Sajak. That was what they did. They had fucking Pat Sajak, who's Canadian, come out there and say something, and then they had some bullshit military choir sing a song. And I thought, okay, that's fine. That's Washington D.C. But we're Las Vegas. We got to be something a little bit tacky, a little bit over the top.
Of course.
A sword fight out on the ice. That's what we.
It caught me off guard, but I totally agree with you. I responded like you. And I hopefully, like most people, it was like, well, there's hot chicks, pyrotechnics, singing, sword fights. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
In fact, Mike Milbury, on the show for the one of the commentators had said it was the loudest building he'd ever heard in his life. I mean, for hockey, and that Las Vegas has been reinventing the pregame show on how they get people excited get the crowd up for the game. And you'd expect you go out in front of the T-Mobile, and there's stuff going on. We do have the celebrities who do the shows, so they come here and they ring the bell or whatever the hell it is that they do. They run the siren.
Right.
Yeah, and it's all there. We all kind of snicker and laugh at it because we don't take it that seriously.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're gonna. And I didn't see if they did something, but I'm sure we're gonna design something that is very specifically Las Vegas as far as our Zambonis.
Yeah.
They're already an ad spot.
Yeah. They'll have to shape it like a slot machine or something like that. Lights going off and
Yeah, that would be fantastic. But
dancing girls on it or something like that. Put a stage on it. Yeah.
I love it. And the detractors, screw them.
Remember we had the flatbed truck with the pole in the back.
Yes.
Driving around the portables. Yeah. Something like that. Just a with dancing. Cheerleaders or something. That we all laugh at it because we don't take it too seriously.
Yeah. Why not? And you know what? And we got a great team. So who cares? But thanks, John. That was a lot of fun. Again, thanks to our sponsor, CWO Designs, home decor and custom woodworking, and now custom photography with that woodworking at CWOdesigns.com. Also, go to Amazon and check out our colleague Julia's book. It's Carved in Stone, a Vanessa Stone murder thriller. You go to Amazon Kindle and download that to all of your favorite pads and phones. But it's Carved in Stone, a Vanessa Stone thriller. Get a hold of us. It's the podbaydoorlv@gmail.com. All your questions can be directed there or any of the formats that you would like to go to. And we would love you if you go to iTunes or Podbean and give us a review. Tell us how we're doing. And we appreciate every question that we get, and we respond to everything that we get through all the formats. But for John, this is Jamie. We will see you next week. Thanks to everyone listening and watching. You can catch the Pod Bay Door on the Podbean app or any of your favorite podcast apps, including iTunes, Google Play, TuneIn, and Stitcher Radio. You can watch the show on our YouTube channel at the Pod Bay Door Podcast. Please download, like, and subscribe. Our social connectivity screen is coming up. Check in with us on Facebook, Twitter, and WordPress. The Pod Bay Door is closed and talent is out. Hey everybody, thank you very much for tuning into the show. We would love to hear your show suggestions and comments. If you are watching on our YouTube channel, please click to subscribe. You can also connect with us on Facebook using @PBD Podcast, on Twitter using TPBD Podcast and on WordPress at thepodbaydoor.wordpress.com.